This was not just a battle, this was the end. For centuries, the had ruled the known world, vast, powerful, untouchable. No enemy had ever truly broken it. No force had ever pushed it to collapse, until now. On one battlefield, everything would be decided. One king came to defend his empire, the other came to end it. And when it was over, nothing would remain the same. After the defeat at the war entered its final stage. The illusion of Persian invincibility had been shattered. Territories began to weaken. Control slipped, confidence faded. And across the empire, a dangerous realization spread. They could be defeated. Meanwhile, advanced without hesitation. He did not slow down. He did not stop. Every step forward increased pressure. Every victory pushed the empire closer to collapse. This was no longer a campaign. This was a takeover, and both sides understood one thing. The next battle would decide everything. This time, that would not repeat his mistake. After humiliation, he prepared carefully. Not just an army, but a battlefield designed for victory. He chose open ground, wide, flat, cleared of obstacles, perfect for movement, perfect for numbers, perfect for overwhelming force. He gathered soldiers from across the empire. Infantry, cavalry, specialized units, everything Persia could offer. This was not reaction. This was preparation, a final attempt to restore control, a final chance to destroy Alexander. And this time, everything was in his favor. The Persian army stood at its greatest strength, massive in size, organized for impact, built for dominance. Among them were weapons designed to break any enemy. Scythe chariots, fast, deadly, designed to tear through formations and create chaos. The cavalry stretched wide, ready to surround and overwhelm. The battlefield itself had been prepared for this moment. Flattened ground allowed speed. Open space allowed control. Everything had been planned. Everything had been aligned. This should have ended the war. This should have crushed the invader. But war is not decided by preparation alone. Because did not fight the battle Persia expected. He studied the field. He saw the advantage. And instead of matching it, he broke it. He adjusted his formation. Flexible, adaptive, designed not to resist, but to move. As the battle approached, his army shifted, not straight forward, but at an angle, stretching the Persian lines, pulling them out of position, forcing them to react. This was not about strength. This was about control. While Persia relied on size, Alexander relied on intelligence, and slowly, the larger army began to lose its shape. Then the battle began. The ground shook as armies advanced, the air filled with noise, metal, movement, impact. This was war at its largest. The scythe chariots charged forward, fast, violent, designed to break everything in their path. But Alexander was ready. At the last moment, his lines opened, gaps formed. The chariots passed through, neutralized. The battlefield expanded, lines stretched, units moved, confusion spread. What had been planned as a controlled assault became chaos. And in that chaos, Alexander saw opportunity. This was the moment that ended everything. As the Persian lines stretched and weakened, Alexander struck, direct, focused, toward the center, toward the king, watched it happen. The pressure building, the lines breaking, the control slipping away. And in that moment, history repeated itself. He turned and ran. But this was not Issus. This was the final battle. There would be no return, no recovery, no second chance, because when the king fled, the empire fled with him. After that, there was nothing left to hold. The army broke apart, units scattered, resistance faded. The battlefield belonged to Alexander. Not because he had more men, but because he had control, because he had leadership, because he never broke. And with that, the fell, not weakened, not damaged, ended. After Gaugamela, the war was no longer a question. It was over, had done what no one before him had done. He had defeated an empire. From this moment, he was not just a king. He was a conqueror of the world, and there was nothing left to stop him. Subscribe for the next chapter, because the story doesn't end here.